Hey. Oh, right. Blend in. Yeah, blend in.
Oh yeah, I'm Xenia, your real-life English fluency coach. And today we're learning English with the great animated movie Rango, starring Johnny Depp. After being accidentally thrown from his family's car, a lonely pet chameleon named Rango finds himself in the desert, starting a surprising rise from lost outsider to an unexpected hero. As we just saw, he ends up in the Old West town of Dirt and quickly realizes he needs to blend in, to look and behave like everyone else so he doesn't attract attention. This is like dressing like the locals when traveling abroad. The opposite would be to stick out like a sore thumb, being obviously different from everyone else. Imagine showing up to a formal wedding in jeans and a t-shirt. Yeah. Rango is absolutely packed with useful advanced English expressions. If you're like me and you may forget new words an hour after you learn them, then I recommend you study blend in, stick out, and all the other best expressions from today's lesson with the magic flashcards on the Real Life English app. Now let's jump into the lesson. You'll first watch each scene with subtitles, then we'll learn all the most important expressions, pronunciation, and grammar together. And stick around until the end because you'll test everything you learned by watching all the clips without subtitles and answering some quiz questions.
Who exactly are you?
Who am I? I could be anyone.
What's the matter? You missing your mommy's mangoes?
As a matter of fact, I am. But not as much as your daddy's cooking!
Exactly. Where did you say you're from?
Me? I'm from the West. Out there, beyond the horizon. Past the sunset. The far West. Yeah, that's right, hombres. Place I come from, we kill a man before breakfast just to work up an appetite. Then we salt him. Then we pepper him. Then we braise him in clarified butter. And then we eat him.
You eat him?
That's what I said!
Rango has a bit of an identity crisis when he arrives in Dirt. He's suddenly free to reinvent himself. So as we saw, he starts making up an elaborate backstory. That's absolutely full of advanced expressions. Let's break them down.
I could be anyone.
What's the matter? You missing your mommy's mangoes?
So we had the same word, matter, used in two different ways. First, Spoons notices this weird new stranger and challenges him by asking, "What's the matter?" That's just a common way to ask, "What's wrong?" Rango courageously and quickly responds to Spoon's insult with, "As a matter of fact, I am."
As a matter of fact, I am. But not as much as your daddy's cooking!
What do you think this expression means? Actually, now that you mention it, that's completely false. I refuse to answer. Right, this phrase is used to introduce a fact that clarifies, corrects, or emphasizes what's being said. It can show agreement, and stronger information, or signal that the speaker is about to be especially direct and truthful. Here's another example.
Ah! How could you know that? Unless you were conspiring with a bunch of known criminals.
Well, as a matter of fact, it's time I came clean about something.
Rango shoots back an insult and then continues with his absurd origin story.
Exactly. Where did you say you're from?
Me? I'm from the West. Out there, beyond the horizon. Past the sunset. The far West.
The horizon is that line where the sky appears to meet the ground or sea. It's as far as you can see. When someone says something is beyond the horizon, they mean it's far away. And in American history, the far west refers to the wildest and most remote areas. Rango is trying to paint himself as coming from the roughest, toughest place imaginable.
Now, tell me, have you ever felt frustrated when native speakers talk really fast? You see, the issue usually isn't their speed. It's that they use connected speech you were never taught in school. That's how natives cut, reduce, and link their words in fluent speech. Let's check out some examples.
What's the matter?
As a matter of fact, I am.
First off, this word matter was used twice, but it wasn't pronounced as matter. These movie characters are American, so they transformed this into a tap T, which sounds like a soft D. Matter. Matter.
In the first phrase, the is reduced to just a schwa sound and all three words connect. Instead of what's the matter, we hear what's the matter? What's the matter? The a and off in the second phrase both transform into schwas too, and all the words link. So as a matter of fact becomes as a matter of fact. As a matter of fact.
Your speaking will only get better with lots of practice. So listen again and repeat.
What's the matter? What's the matter?
As a matter of fact, I am. As a matter of fact, I am.
And we see another great example in the next phrase.
Past the sunset.
Usually when we have a combination of a T or D and a TH sound, we only pronounce the second one. So here, the T in past is dropped and all three words combine. Past the sunset.
You try saying it.
Past the sunset. Past the sunset. Yeah, that's right, hombres. Place I come from, we kill a man before breakfast just to work up an appetite.
The Old West was once part of Spain and Mexico and has a lot of Spanish influence. Just think of all these Spanish city names: Las Vegas, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and many more. So, hombres is Spanish for men or guys. It's often used in Western movies to add that cowboy flavor.
Place I come from, we kill a man before breakfast just to work up an appetite.
To work up an appetite means doing something physical that makes you hungry, like exercising, hiking, or working in the garden. But Rango exaggerates ridiculously, claiming that where he's from, people are so tough they commit violence just to get hungry enough for breakfast.
It's completely absurd, which is exactly what makes it funny. A more realistic example you could hear is, I went for a 5-mile run to work up an appetite before lunch.
Then we salt him. Then we pepper him. Then we braise him in clarified butter. And then we eat him.
Okay, now Rango's going completely overboard with his story. Let's break down the cooking terms.
To salt and pepper something means exactly what it sounds like, adding salt and pepper as seasoning. But of course, you do this to food, not a person. To braise means to cook something slowly in liquid, usually after browning it first. It's a legitimate cooking technique, often used for tough cuts of meat. Rango's describing cooking a person like they're a piece of meat, which is darkly comedic and completely ridiculous.
He also used a bit of connected speech here.
Then we salt him. Then we pepper him.
Natives often drop the first sound in pronouns like him, her, and them.
In this case, the H in him is dropped and connects to salt and pepper. Salt him, pepper him.
Listen to Rango again and try to say those just like him.
Then we salt him. Then we pepper him. Then we salt him. Then we pepper him.
Now, let's take a quick break from the movie to hear from Johnny Depp himself about what makes Rango so special.
I think there's no mistake that Rango is a character who is trying to figure out what he's supposed to be, very much like, most of us in life. And the fact that he's a lizard attempting to adapt to his surroundings, assume these characters to be accepted. It's very, very fitting.
Actually, what I love about this movie is that it's so relatable for an English learner. It is easy to feel out of place, just like Rango when he arrives in dirt. But Rango shows us we can fake it until we make it. In other words, even if we don't feel confident, we can make the courageous choice to pretend to be confident until we really feel it. Listening into this great expression Johnny used.
I think there's no mistake that Rango is a character who is trying to figure out what he's supposed to be.
This means it's absolutely clear, it's obviously true. For example, there's no mistake that she's the best player on the team. Means it's completely obvious to everyone. You might also hear make no mistake, which means the same thing, like in this example.
Make no mistake, I love Montana, but I'm doing this for our ranch.
And make no mistake, if you don't practice these advanced expressions we're learning today, you'll forget them in hours or even minutes. Imagine you get into a conversation in English and know that one of the expressions from this lesson would be perfect to use, but it will not come to you. Remember I told you about the flashcards on the Real Life app? They will help you a lot. And now you also have the Real Life AI coach to help you practice everyday expressions in real conversation. Check it out for yourself for free. Just click the link below. And Johnny used some nice connected speech in this phrase.
Very much like, most of us in life.
He fluently connected these three words so it sounds like most of us. You give it a shot.
Very much like, most of us in life. Most of us in life.
Now, something really interesting is how Rango was produced. Rather than just recording the script in a studio, the actors actually acted out the scenes as the character, and the animation was based off of that.
Johnny calls this emotion capture. Check it out.
Instead of motion capture, it's kind of emotion capture. It's basically using the actors as a reference for the emotion of the characters. I think it just gives a bunch of grown-ups an opportunity to be silly and get paid for it. Essentially, that's my that's my excuse.
So cool, right? I love what Johnny said here.
I think it just gives a bunch of grown-ups an opportunity to be silly and get paid for it.
Grown-ups is an informal, playful way to say adults. Usually it's what children call us. Johnny probably used it here to emphasize that the Rango cast got to be silly and act like kids. By the way, to be silly means to be foolish, but it isn't a bad thing. It means letting loose and enjoying yourself without worrying about being dignified or serious.
All right, back to the movie. Let's finish the scene we watched before. Rango's story gets really out of control.
Hell, I seen things make a grown man lose control of his glandular function. You spend 3 days in a horse carcass living off your own juices. It'll change a man. Oh, yeah. So no, my hirsute little rodent friend, I am not from around these parts. You might say I'm from everywhere there's trouble brewing and hell waiting to be raised. You might say I'm what hell's already raised up. Name's Rango. Hell, I seen things make a grown man lose control of his glandular function.
Okay, so first off, hell as an interjection is used to add intensity to what you're saying. You might hear someone say, hell, I don't know, meaning, I really don't know. It's informal, so I wouldn't use this at work.
A grown man simply means an adult male. When used with make like this, it emphasizes that even someone mature and experienced would be affected by something. Like, the movie was so scary it made a grown man cry. Check out this other example.
Oh, it's so beautiful!
That's enough to make a grown man cry.
Glandular functions is a fancy medical term for bodily processes controlled by glands, things like sweating, salivating, or other automatic responses. Rango's using overly sophisticated language to sound more dramatic, which is a part of the humor.
By the way, a quick grammar note. Did you notice how Rango says, I seen things?
Hell, I seen things make a grown man lose control of his glandular function.
This is actually incorrect grammar. How would you say that correctly? I was seen things, I done seen things, I have seen things.
Right. If you want to be absolutely correct, you should say, I've seen things, but you'll hear natives speak like this in casual speech, especially in rural dialects. Alright, check out the dark language Rango used in his story next.
You spend 3 days in a horse carcass living off your own juices. It'll change a man. Oh, yeah.
A carcass is the dead body of an animal.
It's not a pleasant word, and it emphasizes just how rough Rango's claiming his experiences have been.
You spend 3 days in a horse carcass living off your own juices. It'll change a man. Oh, yeah.
Living off your own juices is a pretty gross expression that means surviving on, well, your own bodily fluids.
Similarly to make a grown man, when Rango says it'll change a man, he means an experience like that will transform a person, usually making them harder, tougher, or more damaged.
This phrase is often used to talk about traumatic experiences. For example, going through war will change a man.
So no, my hirsute little rodent friend, I am not from around these parts.
A rodent is a type of animal that includes mice, rats, and squirrels. And hirsute just means hairy. Spoons is a mouse, so this is an accurate description.
So no, my hirsute little rodent friend, I am not from around these parts.
Not from around these parts is a classic Western movie phrase meaning someone is not a local. These parts just means this area.
You might hear someone ask, are you from around these parts? By the way, can I ask you a favor? We depend on your feedback to make lessons you will really enjoy and that will help you speak English confidently and fluently. So just take a moment to pause this lesson and comment one series, movie, or celebrity you would love us to make a lesson with. We in the Real Life English team read every single comment.
You might say I'm from everywhere there's trouble brewing and hell waiting to be raised.
Here's a great advanced expression. Trouble brewing means trouble is about to start. Think of it like storm clouds gathering. It comes from the idea of brewing beer or coffee. Something is being prepared. For example, I could tell there was trouble brewing between my colleague and my boss.
You might say I'm from everywhere there's trouble brewing and hell waiting to be raised.
So, to raise hell means to loudly and dramatically cause chaos. Like, when the airline lost his luggage again, he raised hell at the check-in desk. It can also mean to have wild, rowdy fun. We're going to raise hell at the concert tonight. And here's another example.
He knows one of the owners of the hotel he's gonna call. He's gonna raise hell.
Name's Rango.
I'm sure you know the proper way to introduce yourself is, my name is Rango. However, Rango drops the my for a more tough-sounding delivery. This abbreviated style is super common in westerns and action movies, just like James Bond.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
You've done an incredible job with all this advanced English we've learned with Rango. But we're not done yet. In fact, this is the most important part. You're going to test everything you learned today by watching those clips again without subtitles and answering some quiz questions.
Hey. Oh, right. Blend in. Yeah, blend in.
If you want to blend in at a fancy dinner party, you should wear casual clothes to stand out, dress similarly to other guests and follow their behavior, announce loudly that you're new to these events.
Who exactly are you?
Who am I? I could be anyone.
What's the matter? You missing your mommy's mangoes?
As a matter of fact, I am.
True or false? As a matter of fact is used to disagree with someone. False. It's actually used to confirm or emphasize agreement, though it can have a slightly confrontational tone.
Not as much as your daddy's cooking!
Exactly. Where did you say you were from?
Me? I'm from the West. Out there, beyond the horizon. Past the sunset. The far West. Yeah, that's right, hombres. Place I come from, we kill a man before breakfast just to...
Fill in the blank. After my long hike in the mountains, I really for dinner. Worked up an appetite.
Just to work up an appetite. Then we salt him. Then we pepper him. Then we braise him in clarified butter. And then we eat him.
You eat him?
That's what I said! Hell, I seen things make a grown man lose control of his glandular function. You spend 3 days in a horse carcass living off your own juices. It'll change a man. Oh, yeah. Got a few extra aces in this deck, gents. Just the way I like it. So no, my hirsute little rodent friend, I am not from around these parts. You might say I'm from everywhere there's trouble brewing and hell waiting to be raised.
Match each expression to its meaning. Trouble brewing, raise hell. The horizon, stick out like a sore thumb.
You might say I'm what hell was already raised up. Name's Rango.
I think there's no mistake that Rango is a character who is trying to figure out what he's supposed to be. Very much like, most of us in life. And the fact that he's a lizard attempting to adapt to his surroundings, assume these characters to be accepted is it's very, very fitting. Instead of motion capture, it's kind of emotion capture. It's basically using the actors as a reference for the emotion of the characters. I think it just gives a bunch of grown-ups an opportunity to be silly and get paid for it. Essentially, that's my that's my excuse.
How'd you do on the test? I bet you understood a lot better than the first time, right? Well, if you're new here, every week we make lessons like this with your favorite movies, series, and celebrities to help you understand fast-speaking natives without getting lost, without missing the jokes, and without subtitles. So hit the subscribe button and bell down below. That way you can join our community of over 10 million learners and never miss a new lesson. And I bet you'll really enjoy this other lesson.
Are you sure this will work? You're the one that said we needed a bust. Just follow my lead, okay? Act casual.
Hey!
Here we go.
Hello? This whole area is restricted. You can't be here. Whoa, Fox and Bunny. Okay.
Yes, but proud parents first. Mr.
Inspector Snootley.
Inspector? What do? Ensure that nothing illegal gets smuggled here in one of these cargo containers?
That's a weird way to ask that. Anyway, you gotta leave. You can't be here.
Oh.
Wait. He's right, gosh darn it. You are right, sir. Yeah, I guess we should have thought this through. Right, babe?